All right. So it's been a long time since I rock and roll. Yeah. Eduardo, you ready, bro? Man, it's been a long time. Hey, anyway, we're going to go over the March 24th fight between Lamont Peterson and Sergey Lipinets. And going to break it down for you for the my thoughts on the fight, break down both fighters, and then give my opinion at the end. Been a long time. Too long, right? Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go and look at Lamont Peterson, 5'9", 72-inch reach, 35, 4-1 with 17 knockouts, 43% knockout ratio. So over the years, if you've looked at my old videos that I've done of him, his knockout percentage has dropped as it's went on. He's 35 years old. He's no longer a spring chicken by no means. Same thing with Lipinets, you could say, as he's 30 years old. So we're looking at it, not a big puncher for Lamont. He has some power. Every punch that he throws, it's a bit exaggerated. Looks like he's trying to put a lot of stank on it, but the knockouts bear through is that is not necessarily always the case. Not a lot of power there. He's 2-2 in his last 4 fights, but I mean, those losses came to Danny Garcia and Errol Spence Jr. So, I mean, they're pretty good fighters. I don't know if you knew that or not. Lots of heart. Chin is a bit suspect with him. He's a good boxer, not great. His defense tends to get a little lax, and he does get in there and try to war a little bit. He can have a tight D with a good jab. So, maybe it's really just depends on who he's fighting at the time. Styles make fights, right? And if you don't fear a fighter, you might get a little bit looser, like the fight he had before he fought Garcia, I believe it was. There's a long layoff for Lamont Peterson as well. He's had over a year, and you got to wonder about that. I mean, he did take a good bit of a beating against Errol Spence. Eyes were swelling. That 7th round there, he looked bad, but he still wanted to fight. But, that's kind of how it goes. He's got a good jab. He does work the head and body well. Lots of hooks, but he tends to get wide with them, leaving himself open for counters and things like that. He does drop his hands when that happens. Stamina is okay. He has went 12 rounds multiple times. But as I said, he is 35 now. He was fighting at a lighter weight. He stepped up in weight, which tends to happen as fighters age. You just can't. You build muscle mass without even trying to build muscle mass as you get older. Or at least that's what I try to tell myself as my weight goes up. Anyway, again, this is a long layoff for him. Going over to Sergey Lipinets, he's 5'7", 67-inch reach, so he's a little bit shorter, not as long a reach, but the dude is thick. Very thick. He's stepping up. His last fight was at welterweight. He weighed 148 at that 1.5, and this looks to be a good weight for him. He was a little bit light in the Mikey Garcia fight, which, boy, that was a fight. And he took some shots there and went down, but that tends to come off of his, when he starts to war, he can get a bit off balance because he's a little more flat-footed. He's a former kickboxer in amateurs. He had like over 350 amateur kickboxing fights, which is pretty amazing with that. And this is boxing. But he does generate good power, real good power off of that. He's 14-1, 10 knockouts. Hasn't had a knockout his last 2 fights, I don't believe. But he's got power at super lightweight. Let's see how that power transitions. Because against Bonnier, it went the distance. He wasn't able to stop him. So, maybe his power really isn't going to transfer up. He is giving up the 2 inches in height, 5 inches in reach against Lamont Peterson. So we'll see if that comes into effect, but I don't think it will because Lamont Peterson he might get sucked into a war here because this would be a great step-off point again for Lamont Peterson to really get his name back into the picture with everything. Again, 30 years old, no spring chicken there. We talked about earlier. Solid resume. He's won 12 rounds and 10 rounds in his last 2 fights. Does tend to struggle with speed, but he cuts the ring off very well. That's a really good thing that he has there. Tends to bend at the waist instead of getting out of situations. He just bends over, which can open him up for uppercuts or to get hit. You know, those punches coming down. He's already short, so when he bends over, you know, it's even that much more, and you get more power throwing down than you do throwing up. And shut up, Eduardo. Man, I'm trying to do this serious. He's got good hooks, counters, and uppercuts. He works that body all fight long. He does not stop hitting the body there. He's got a pretty good chin. As we saw, he took a lot of shots from Mikey Garcia and was still able to stay alive. Works well off the feint. In fact, that feint keeps his opponents off balance there as to they don't know when to take it serious, and you have to take every action until you actually see that hand leave the body a little more. You've got to take that serious as it goes through. He can war, but again, he does tend to get off balance on that. It's not always a great thing there, but he does push that pace, and he constantly stalks. He never lets up, and that ability to cut the ring off really negates that foot speed and stuff for other fighters. He kind of just walks you down. That's a good thing. And again, he fought that last fight at 148. This is a very thick dude. And Lamont Peterson, while he did look good in that 148 fight, his last fight there, the guy he was fighting did not have power. The guy he's fighting, it almost seemed like maybe he carried him a little bit, but you know, we don't want to get into any of that. So if we look for this, we're going to look for Lamont to make it ugly. I think Lamont is going to use that veteran savvy that he has in the ring, the boxing ring, and look to tie him up, get some shots off, tie this guy up, try to fluster him, throw him off his game, as this is only the 16th pro fight for Sergey. So it's going to be a war, I think, with these two fighters, and with Lamont's heart, it's going to make it a war. Lamont should stay back and try and keep that distance, but take advantage of that 5-inch reach. I don't think that's going to happen in this one. I think he's going to want to try to war to make that statement in this fight. And I think Peterson's D and his chin are going to eventually fail him in this one, as I see Lipinets taking this fight in the later rounds, around that 9th, 10th round, where Lamont finally goes for broke because maybe he's behind on the cards a little bit. And, you know, it happens. So, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it? Yeah, first straight through, no cuts or anything. That was okay. Hey, anyway, thank you for watching this. Probably should have put this out a couple weeks sooner, right? Anyway, you'll have a great one there. Again, we're going to go with Lipinets by KO in the, we'll go 9th round. I like the 9th round for some reason. All right? All right, hey, keep punching. The Bigragu. I'm out.